It's a yellow jacket on the windowsill. So, welcome to another video. This one is a compilation of snippets, video snippets of my dialoguing about narcissistic abuse. My experience comes from having been the child and an adult of a pathologically narcissistically abusive mother. What kind of abuse? Verbal abuse, misguidance, sabotage, competition, verbal diatribe, total mismanagement and disregard for most of her children. In my particular case, folks, I was the fastest female runner in track after my sister graduated. But since she was the golden child and I was the invisible child, I was encouraged by my mother to graduate a half year early, to get on with the business of living and working, because that's what life was all about, Kathleen. You had to put your nose to the grindstone, Kathleen. I could have gotten a scholarship or at least an enjoyable senior year, but instead her golden child was on her way, and henceforth my entire life was derailed. Now, of course, I was successful because that's who I am, but it wasn't until I became older and having had three successive narcissists as partners, each one different, one a garden variety, one the arrogant, self-righteous, and the third the vulnerable covert who was the most dangerous. And when you finally find out why you had that addiction, it's like healing yourself from heroin. And so when you get over the addiction, then you deal with the grief and the pain. And so that all of us who have had a difficult relationship with toxic partners, due to probably a tragic childhood of trauma and basically conditional love, due to those things, we attracted what I call a trauma bond. And it's that jag that you get, which is the arousal jag, that comes through having a familiar energetic pattern that comes through the partner. And in my case, it was the traditional love and how, conditional love, and how it was so familiar to the love I received from my mother, which was none until she made me cry, and then she would give it to me because that meant she had power over me. And so men in my life have modeled that. And so I was addicted to them. I take full responsibility. I've kicked the habit. And this is the new stuff I go walking in. Now, while I was in my third and last abusive relationship, because three's the charm, and it took me that long to figure it out because I was brainwashed, groomed, and conditioned by a narcissistic mother. So I did not recognize love as anything other than the pathos that it was. Try harder. That's what you do if a child of a narcissistically abusive mother. You keep trying harder. But as a result, I also became deeply devoted to God, but outside the Bible. I was raised in a Christian home. I believed in Jesus. I actually had a heightened spiritual experience, and I experienced the golden light taking the Christ into my heart. And in that moment, in that light, in that intelligence, it was transferred to my young 12-year-old self that Jesus taught something different than what the Christians were teaching in the churches. So I knew that, and that was good enough for me. You know, I brought it all into focus, and I focused on me because I had to. So if I look at the empowerment Excuse me, yes, the empowerment that you get. The grief comes from the lungs, people. You get the grief out, otherwise it's stuck in the lungs. You can do tapping. Anyway, where was I? Well, essentially, this is a compilation because when I was in the situation and not knowing what was up, because I was addicted to the sex, I had bonded to this man. And I had to listen to video after video after video. And it was the little shaman, Sister Sin. Her station, her channel on YouTube. Video after video after video to finally drum it into my head. Yes, I was being abused. And yes, it was wrong. But because you are under the assault on a daily, you actually normalize it, and you spend so much time dealing with it. It's like being a soldier on the front of a battle every single day. And your adrenals get shot. So in the making of these videos, I had times when I'm dealing with grief, I cannot handle anything other than being within myself. So I go within. And that's what I'm suggesting to my listeners of these videos. They are helpful to you. They're helpful to me. They're helpful to all those who don't have the validation or need to hear it regularly. Yes, you went through HELL. Yes, there's a reason why you have these issues with your physicality. Meaning aches, pains, ennui, malaise, inability to move forward, depression, anxiety, etc., etc., etc. Well, pat yourself on the back and now get some jig going on. You have to move the body. You have to dance. You have to move. You have to express it. And you know, all the people who have found this community and have found my channel, thank you for you, because your communication with me has been my lifeline. And those of you who know me from in the Virginia years when it was all about my guy, that narcissist, because I was blind because, oh yeah, that's what I was going with it. Your brain changes and you actually lose certain abilities. And so when you get away, when you're with a narcissist on a regular, because you're in that fight or flight all the time. So when you get away from all of that, that's when you start healing. So don't be going to I'm not a doctor, this is not medical advice. Take care of yourself and recognize that your body holds the records. The body knows the history of what you've been through. It doesn't lie. And it's a very real thing. So you're not going to get validation from doctors. This is not medical advice. You don't need to be taking medical prescriptions because they say so. This is not medical advice. This is my opinion. Remember the witch hunts that killed all those people who know how to do herbs and things that relax you? This is not medical advice. Maybe you should look into like chamomile tea, passion flower. Not medical advice. Do some herb study. I'm just saying, look into some herbs, man. Honor the seasons of your healing. Also, we're heading into we're in a potent cycle. You know, you keep hearing that. Well, we are. Again. And so here's the season. You know, this is North Carolina. The potted herbs, they go dormant. They grow into the roots. It's just a lovely view back here. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I have books in the works. I'm working on a book. Yes, indeed. And I would love for you all to subscribe and follow. I never would have been in the negative relationships I had been in had I been raised by conscious parents who loved me. But instead, I was with parents who degraded me and said mean things. Yeah, you suffer a great deal when you're a child of a narcissistic parent because they compete with you. She always presented me with challenges that she didn't present other siblings, but kept telling me that I had to pay for my own senior pictures because everybody else paid for theirs. And meanwhile, I could see that she had paid for everybody else's, and now she was expecting me to pay for mine. I finally am calling out stuff that needed to be called out a long time ago. She omitted me from my memories of high school by eradicating my presence because I graduated half year early because my messed up mother told me I had to. I had to graduate early in order to not be like my sister Jan. And so even though I was the fastest runner in spring track, I had to leave and graduate early so I could make money and not be like my sister Jan, whatever that meant. I'll write about it someday, but it's pretty painful. Anybody who's had this experience of having a childhood such as mine will catch on. It's all coming together, this life of ours. And if you have moments of downers, down, like you feel down, down. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. Sing a song like that. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, the little one stops to suck his thumb. And they all go marching down into the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching two by two. The little one stops to tie her shoe. And they all go marching down into the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching three by three. The little one stops to look at a bee. And they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching four by four. The little one stops to shut the door. And they all go marching down into the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. And then it goes on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they all go marching down into the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 video comfort quilt that will be for those people who are licking their wounds, who are in the retreat, who have learned that, yeah, they've been through something very hard and they're healing, and their life is not going to be this miserable or this difficult or this lonely. And your not having the ability to have a relationship is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your health, of saying no. Once you got through a narcissistically abusive relationship, and it took me three to figure it out, do not give yourself a hard time. You were conditioned, you were programmed, you were brainwashed. Your mother raised you. You were treated like SHIT. You were ignored. You did not matter. You were not validated. Your emotions were not validated. You were told you were wrong. You were told you were not good enough. Well, guess what? It makes you even more amazing. Not only are you good enough, you're great. And it's the caveat being that you discover you, and you connect to your higher power, and you connect to the beauty and the goodness of nature and the seasons of your life, and you honor your beauty, and you say, God does not make mistakes, and that I have to be something really magnificent for somebody like a parent to come in and try to dim my light. And you know what you do? Want to know what the best revenge is? Contentment, happiness, peace, self-acceptance, joy of living, enjoyment, ecstasy of living, nurturing yourself with a cup of tea, the perfect coffee. I got myself recently a little frother in my life. It's a game changer. Focus on the joy you feel. You got away. I got away from that narcissistic, abusively tragic human being who hates life, who doesn't have what I have. And you know what? I remember once that one in Virginia, he came into the bedroom, he said to me, and he goes, I had my arms, he goes, you, meaning Kat, me, I had my arms over my head, on my back, and I was sleeping with a smile on my face. And this is the tell, what he said to me. And I looked at you, he said, and I was like, that bitch. He laughed, but it was like, because he doesn't fall asleep happy. He's never happy. He's a miserable SOB. And every day without him in it is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Of yourself. Knowing that you pick partners after the fact that mirrored, after the fact your mother's abuse, after the fact your father's neglect, and recognizing all of this through your art. It takes a brave heart to expose one's heart, yes? So I just started discovering what kind of a fun, neat person I actually am. You find out what you're not. You get rid of that, and then you become very vulnerable, sure. You're vulnerable. But I'm not going to be like a soft shell crab. I'm not going to harden my exterior again and just be tasty and delectable during my vulnerable stage. That's what narcissists see you as, soft shell crab. That's tasty and delectable before they harden their shells again, or in my case, learn to discern. So part of what I teach with my one-on-ones during retreats is talking to a person to helping them meaningfully understand their own life in the context of understanding the patterns, so that they don't jeopardize their well-being by doing a knee-jerk response and leaving a partner. I'm all about people staying together, but knowing who they are and being able to grow, I never would have been in the negative relationships I had been in had I been raised by conscious parents who loved me. And you suffer big time, motherfuckers. It's terrible.
Our past and our stories, it was all about kind of becoming your authentic self. Being your authentic self.
And the idea of being genuine. So being genuine is like one of the precepts of being alive. Is like one of the precepts of being alive.
That you discover you and you connect to your higher power and you connect to the beauty and the goodness of nature and the seasons of your life, and you honor your beauty and you say, God does not make mistakes. Be well, my friends, and take good care of yourself. Love as much as you can. Nurture your world. Make beauty, make room for it, appreciate nature. Much love to you.